On your
Yeah.
information.
So,
Yeah.
welcome to Living a Healthy Lifestyle Show with your favorite holistic health coach, Carrie Kay. I have Gary Holmberg on today, and he's going to tell his story. He's also going to talk about his wife's story. He lives in Tampa, Florida, and he's going to start doing a lot of meetings and talking about the power of the patch. So, we're going to be focusing on that today. So, welcome to the show, Gary.
Hey, Carrie, thank you so much for the invite. It's a pleasure to be here, and we are honored to share anything. I'm trying to turn my volume up here. Hang on.
Oh,
Nope,
okay.
there we go. We're thrilled to be here. It's always great to share this incredible journey that we've been so blessed by the grace of God with. And it
Mhm.
started on June 10th, 2021. I'm an elite senior presidential director with LifeWave. What does that mean? I qualified according to their standards to be in the top 30 enrollers in the company in North America.
Wow, that's awesome, Superman.
Yeah.
So tell us, have you always wanted to help people restore their health? When did that get started?
Well, I would say I've always had a generous and kind heart to the needy and to the homeless and so forth, but nothing has ever come close to fulfilling what the X39 has done and LifeWave has done for so many lives that I've been very blessed and fortunate to be a small part of.
Oh, wow. So tell us a little bit about how your how it all started, like how you found the power of the patch and how it helped you and your family.
Well, on June 10th, 2021, I got a call from a lady that I was good friends with at the time, and we had worked together previously. And she had called me and simply said, "What do you know about stem cells?" And I was like, "Well, not a whole lot. I mean, I've heard of them, and I knew they were expensive and so forth." And she says, "Well, what do you know about the stem cell patches?" And I'm like, "I never heard of that."
Mhm.
And so she proceeded to tell me about what it had done for her husband. He was a bricklayer. I knew him too, and big guy, and had a lot of inflammation. If you work construction for any length of time, just going to work on a daily basis, will beat up your body from just the rigors of the job itself. But he was a bricklayer and had been out of work for some time because he was so inflamed. And in a couple of weeks, wearing just the X39, all of his inflammation apparently was either lowered or went away. I don't remember all that, but I do know that he went back to work. And she thought that was pretty amazing considering what he had gone through. And but before we get started, I just want to say also that I'm not here to treat, cure, diagnose anyone. This was our experience. Obviously, we're not doctors, and we're not here. If you're on meds, I would suggest to reach out to your doctor and just make sure everything's good. But my wife had a chronic hip pain of 7 years. And every couple of weeks, like a good husband, I would remember, like, oh, I wonder how Barbara's hip is, thinking it got better. And she forgot to tell me, no, her hip pain was there 7 years after falling, helping my 92-year-old mother cross the street. Barbara didn't complain. She's always worked hard. She worked at Walmart for 13 years, and anyone that's worked at Walmart knows you can't be a sissy and work at Walmart. And my wife was, I would say, was dedicated to a fault. I remember saying, Barb, you got to slow down. You can't do all of this because she would just work herself into a frenzy. And every time there would be a raise coming around, she would always have to get signed off on because they always gave her a raise above what she was supposed to get. So you got to have the store manager and the regional manager and, everybody and their brother. But Barbara was as hard working. I used to say to people that if they had 10 more like her, they could have let the rest of the store go. So my wife was, and every job she had, she was outstanding. Everyone outstanding. I said, and always a raise above. But she had fallen helping my 92-year-old mother who had lived with us at the time crossing the street. And, she didn't complain. And on June 14th, the day before we got just the X39, she was actually on the couch and sobbing boohoo tears because she had a chronic wrist that just hit a wall that day. It wasn't anything we planned to enhance the story. But on June 14th, my wife, as tough as she is, was crying and bawling. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Wish there was more I could do. And it might have been carpal tunnel. I don't know. But 4 hours after putting the X39 on June 15th, 2021, she said, I'm going to go see how my hip is. I'm watching TV. And I'm like, whatever. Comes out of the bedroom, tears of joy. 7 year hip pain was gone, and LifeWave had their first one patch wonder. That is my wife. I coined the phrase, and it just the way it worked out wasn't anything we planned. And I'm like, it's gone. She was crying. I mean, she couldn't believe it. So that's where that started. 2 days later, she said, my wrist pain is gone. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, what the heck have we got here? So 2 days later, wrist pain was gone. 2 days after that, I drove down to Sarasota, met with Dr. Stacy, and had called up a friend of mine, Ron Anthony, who had lived in Naples. Ron and I had worked together. He was interested in direct sales, had done very well. And Ron comes walking in the restaurant like this with his arms out, kind of waddling back. And I'm like, Ron, you could tell something. I said, Ron, what's up? He said, I got two herniated discs. And I'm like, oh. And you could see just how he was. Well, I mean, people don't walk with their arms out in front of them. And I was like, okay. So we put the X39, the Eon, and the Ice Wave on him. And within 30 minutes, he said, I'm starting to feel something. And I'm like, feel something? That's crazy. Drives home to Naples after lunch. And I called him up and he said, I have no pain. I'm like, what? You have no pain? He said, my pain's gone. I'm like, really? So that was kind of the start of our LifeWave and patching protocol for Barbara. Now, in the first week, I was looking in the mirror. I trimmed my eyebrows. I don't want to look like Andy Rooney of 60 Minutes, that had those big bushy eyebrows. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, got black hair in my eyebrow. And I'm like, what's up with that? I had, I mean, when you trim your eyebrows, you notice, I mean, my hair was kind of grayish, and I thought, wow, what is that? And I didn't know it, but I was also going bald, and Barbara took a picture of me, and I'm like, oh, shoot. I didn't know I was going bald, didn't want to go bald, but, if that's the way it is, then, so be it. And so she took a picture. And I was like, yipes. I thought, well, I'm not going to wear a toupee or a hairpiece or whatever. And so this is what my hair looked like. Can you
Oh,
see that?
wow. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it.
pretty thin, okay, pretty thin.
Yeah.
And then 9 months later,
Look at that.
uh-huh,
Amazing.
yeah.
So
And
your
it,
own cells, we call them
yeah,
our master cells,
yeah,
they're the master cells that help us to rebuild our body back to homeostasis.
yeah.
And so you grew your hair back.
And it's still growing in darker. And now I have my hairdresser will say, "Hey, you got some wild hairs in the front." And she'll kind of trim them. And I thought I was done with all the wild hairs, but apparently not. And so that's what happened. And then, according to my, I posted my before and after pictures on Facebook, and I guess according to the comments, not only did I get more youthful, but
Wow.
apparently I got better looking.
Wow, that is so great. Well,
Everyone laughs.
what happens
Everyone
when we
laughs at that.
build?
And I don't understand that, but yeah, that was kind of what happened for me. And I'm going to tell you the Superman story in a minute. But yeah, so reversing of age, old cells made new, light wave technology that I just thought sounded too good to be true. And within 30 days, we had some things going on that were just like, that just blew us away. And what else? So 5 months in, we were watching, well, 4 months in, let me go there. 4 months in, we were watching we went out to dinner, and Barbara has always suffered um, from diverticulosis. Okay. And that's has to do with the intestine, and if you eat a tomato seed, cucumber seed, pumpkin seed, any kind of seed, typically the next day, and it's hard to, when tomatoes, cucumber, they're very small seeds. And if you're eating a vegetable soup or something, good luck on, getting those out of there. But she actually saw one kernel of corn going in that she was eating, and she just thought, oh, it's only a one kernel. How bad? Well, the next day started a 7 day bathroom, bedroom scenario that she never had before all the other times. And this is 40 years, okay? That she would every 3, 4, 5 weeks, invariably she'd eat something and she'd spend the day in the bathroom, because it purges the intestine. And so she was in bed for 7 days. I even asked her, I said, do you want to go to the hospital? And she's like, no, I'm okay. I said, well, you don't sound okay. And this is like day 3 or 4, and she's still in bed. So 4 months in, after wearing, we got it for pain. That's all we thought it did. And 4 months in, we were at a restaurant, and we said, hey, we'd like to get a refill on our seafood chowder. And the server said, that's corn chowder. And we were like, oh my goodness, Barbara, right? Corn chowder. Well, it just so happens Barbara had no reaction the next day or any day after that. And she hasn't had an attack with diverticulosis in over 4 years.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So your body changes as you build that master cell.
Yeah. Well, it gets into homeostasis 1 month for every
Mhm.
decade you're alive, and it basically, does repair of things that nothing else does. But 5 months in, now she also had suffered from AFib, which is kind of a heart thing, and you never want to mess with the heart. And so every couple of weeks or so, she'd get out of whack. And typically, one of the triggers was working too hard, and that's where we'd have this conversation about you can't work yourself, to bad conditions for Walmart. I used to tease her. I say on the tombstone, I would say she gave it all to Walmart. Okay, and oh yeah, my wife, I'm telling you, never missed a day, was never late. Everyone loved
Oh,
her, and she was as company girl as you could get. And they wanted to move her up the ladder, and she didn't want to be no manager. But 5 months in, we're watching one of the Zooms that we still watch on Monday and Thursday. I get to host a Thursday from time to time. And someone came on and talked about AFib. And I looked at her and said, you haven't said nothing about your heart in 5 months. She said, I forgot all about it. So bye bye AFib. So 15 months in, okay, the longer you wear it, the more things it repairs, replenishes all your collagen and more energy and endurance on all the good things that it does if you're physically, if you work out, which I do. And she went, we got her blood work like we always do, and the doctor, she had been on thyroid meds for 10 years. And doctor said to her, you see those numbers, they're perfect. Keep taking your medication. And Barbara said, Doc, I haven't taken those meds in 5 months.
wow. No medicine.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We're
What did
both.
he say? Did he say anything?
He didn't say anything. Then what did he say? He didn't say anything. He didn't respond. He didn't say, what are you doing? See, I don't understand. It's none of my business, but they don't seem to want to know what they do. And, they don't care as far as any improvements or so forth. They're just, they're plugged into what they're plugged into.
Pharmaceuticals. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
it's
sad.
unfortunate, but we're on no medications here. and it's the best thing that ever happened.
Oh, yay. So 15 months is how long as she's been using it or
Oh,
longer?
no, no, we've been using it 4 years as of June 10th.
Oh, wow. So you have a lot more stories.
Well, the Superman story, okay, and
Yeah.
yeah, there is a story to that. It wasn't, just some great idea. Hey, I think I'll brand myself Superman. Although looking back, he was my favorite character growing up, and a lot of people, love Superman, and I didn't steal the idea. It's just how it worked out. So I've worked out since 1980 when I was working for Marriott Hotels. I said, "Hey, there's a little, workout facility. I'll go there. I'd get in the sauna, or I'd come in early in the morning before work and get a good shave and work out and So I've been working out for a long time." And in 2021, December, David Schmidt, owner, founder, CEO, inventor, came out with the X49, okay? And that did a number of other things similar to the X39. However, it elevated a different copper peptide and did a number of other things that are in the patching information, bone density, and I'll never forget. He said that usually the last 10 years of a senior's life are the worst. I want to make them the best. And the X49, when he talked about it, said it built muscle, strength, stamina, and recovery, even if you didn't work out. So I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And so in December, we got the X49. So I'm wearing two patches, X39, X49. And I'm at the gym and I'm realizing I can't get sore. A lot of times if you go to the gym and you have a good workout, the next day you're like, oh man, that was, you can feel the achiness or whatever. I never had that anymore. It went away. I even tried to get, so I do like 10 sets of something with all this weight. And the next day on a 1 to 10, I'd be at a 1. I'm like, okay, I give up. I can't get sore anymore. So I knew that physically it was improving my stamina, my strength, and so forth. And in February, I said to my wife, I said, "Look, I'm gonna start running again. I used to jog 2.5 miles through the neighborhood, and I did it probably now, oh gosh, 10 years ago." And at the time, I thought, I'll run 100 yards and then walk 100 yards, kind of get ready to build. I was still going to the gym, but I wasn't doing any cardio. Not a fan of the treadmill. So I thought in the neighborhood I'd run and walk and run and walk and get ready, and we were so busy I couldn't fit it in. So in February, towards the end, I said to Barbara, "Look, I'm gonna go jog 2.5 miles. I'll see you when I get back." So I did the 2.5 mile run. I didn't set any land or speed record. I probably did 95% of it. And when I got back, I thought, you know what? 70-year-old man jogging 2.5 miles. I didn't know anyone I could call up and say, hey, you want to go jog 2.5 miles? They'd have thought I was crazy. And so I did it, and I thought that was pretty Superman-ish. I was at the time doing a live broadcast with a lady, a lovely lady on Instagram, who we had formed a bond, and I helped her build her business very well. And I thought, you know what? I think that's Superman-ish. I'm going to start wearing Superman. And so I became branded as Superman. A lot of people know me as that. And today at 74, I'm still running 2.5 miles and working out at least 5 days a week. And when we get done here, I'm going to run because I'm not a fan of the treadmill. And there have been days I've actually ran with a flashlight.
Oh, wow.
Well, you got to have a flashlight, and I'll tell you this: I've had 5 falls. Where you hit the sidewalk is raised up, or
Yep.
one
And you
time the
trip
road
over it.
had a little bump, and the last time I went down, I landed on my left side, and I thought I might have broke a rib. I mean, I really hit like, oh shoot, I hope I didn't break anything. And Barbara said, well, maybe it's time to do the treadmill. And I just, maybe next week, but tonight we're jogging when we're done here. But I love it. It's physically for someone who's athletic, changed my life. I had no idea I was going to grow hair. I love the energy of the X39. I pretty much my business has done very well. I help a lot of people. The homeostasis of getting my body in balance has been amazing. I we'll wear these patches until either Jesus come or we go on to the next dimension.
Right? So
Yeah.
when you're in your 30s, isn't it
Uh,
true that you've lost over 60% of your master cells that are rebuilding?
yeah,
And
well,
we
David says, according to the clinical research, by the time we get into 35, 50% of our God-given pluripotent cells are no longer active. And no one knew that until he gave that information after 10 years of research. And the research was done at the University of Galway. It's either the number one or number two stem cell facility in the world. David was there for 10 years, spent $4.5 million of his own money doing this research. And 50% by the time you get into your 60s, 90 to 95% are gone. And no one knew that. I did read two things. One, the New England Journal of Medicine in 2009, I believe, or 2004, I'm not sure which, said that active stem cells were the holy grail of good health and longevity. And then the other thing I read was active stem cells, 2000. I forgot what the other thing was. Sorry.
that's all right. Well, we
Yeah,
have about 200 patents on what we're doing
yeah.
and helping so many people. And, if somebody was really, really skeptical and really wanted to try it, I always say people, it's non-transdermal. And that's really, really important because there's so many different things out there that do actually enter the bloodstream. This doesn't enter the bloodstream. So it's like a red light therapy that is on your body all day long that's creating your own master cells. Can you tell us a little bit about that, the way it works with the light in our body?
Sure. So we're the power source. It's kind of like the sun in photo biomodulation. We go outside and the sun hits us and turns that into vitamin D through, a process that we've known for a long time. And David came up with the idea that, and he did research on a copper peptide called GHK, CU, that the skincare industry calls the fountain of youth peptide. And I don't know about you, but I'd like two fountain of youth peptides, please.
Yes,
I get two
please.
of those. Yeah. And a Dr. Lauren Picard actually did 50 years of research on GHK and 5,000 clinical tests, and he released all that information all the way back to 1973. So
Wow.
yeah, so GHK was kind of, on somehow David came across it. Don't know that part of it, but in the GHKCU, there's one gene called P63 out of the billions of genes and billions of peptides that will activate the 4,200 uh, pluripotent cells, and those are the cells that David found. So if just what the GHK did was all it did, that in itself is amazing. GHK by itself is incredible. 13 pages on PubMed, which is one of those sites that, is unbiased. And there's 13 pages documented on GHK. And I've heard David say many times that he thought Dr. Lauren Picard should have been given a Nobel Prize for medicine for that discovery, but that's helped a lot of people today. There's injections. I talked to a guy today who was getting peptides injections, and I said, this creates your body's own peptide. GHK.
Wow.
This isn't a man-made peptide. Obviously, God's production is better than man's in any way, shape, or form.
Amen.
Amen to that. Yes. So, so basically, when I put this on, what's in here, a proprietary blend. What does that mean? David's not going to give you the formula, but it took 70 patents to get this formulated and 10 years of research, 90 double blind, mostly independent, and peer review studies. Peer review study means, hey, we're going to give this to people out there that don't believe us and let them run the test. And really, to get a US patent, you only need one clinical testing.
Oh, wow.
David's got 90 of them, okay? 80
Mm.
or 90. I've heard 80, I've heard 90. So let me just, you know what? I got to ask him next time I see him. But he now has over 200 patents, and we got the X2O machine coming out that's going to blow up LifeWave, change
Mm.
lives like nothing we've ever seen. And this is, a company that is going places. And if you haven't heard of them, you will because of the documentary David's doing and because Elton John, of course, is going to be at our convention. And
Yay.
I think in some way, shape, or form, either he is or someone on par with him will be promoting and sharing this incredible technology. So,
That
yeah,
is crazy that Elton John is wearing our patches.
well, I don't know that. I don't know that for sure, but I would think if he's doing the convention
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's got I haven't heard that confirmed, but that would be something. There are a lot of people. So light wave technology, the light that I give off, if you go outside with infrared goggles, the patch reflects it back into our body at the perfect frequency.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so why do you only wear it 12 hours on and 12 hours off? I get that question a lot.
Yeah. Well, the body needs time to rest and repair. You can't leave a light on in your house for 24 hours. Eventually, it burns out. They call it attenuation if you leave it on longer than necessary because the body, after a while, is like, hey, I can't keep producing, producing, and producing, and pretty much burns out that ability to do what it does by wearing it 12 hours. You got to have time for rest and repair. And of course, that's nighttime. X39 is a daytime patch. And I didn't know this until just recently. And I'm like, how did I not know this? But at nighttime is when all of our organs are detoxing, and that's why proper rest is so important.
Oh, yes, it is. It
Yeah,
is very important. The
yeah,
body heals itself when it's
yeah,
resting.
yeah. Didn't know
And
that. I didn't know that. I didn't know about the detoxing of the organs. So yeah, it's important to get, whatever 6, 7, 8 hours on a regular basis because eventually some of those things will catch up with you. But the X39, most people in 3 to 6 weeks, more energy, better sleep, mental clarity, and pain reduction. My wife got pain reduction and I got more energy. And I think she might have gotten mental clarity. I definitely got mental clarity.
yeah,
Yes,
that's so great.
sometime I remember saying back in the beginning that David created these patches so we could do more work. Of course
Right?
he did. Of course he didn't, but the fact that what they do, I pretty much go, I'm not, there is I mean, the day I have downtime, I don't go to work till usually 10 a.m. I may answer some text messages. You got to have personal time. You got to have, prayer time. You got to have meditation
Mm.
time. But for us, this has been an incredible journey, and you won't find a better owner, man than David Schmidt. I tell people if God broke the mold after anybody, it has to be David Schmidt. I can't believe there's two of him in the world.
Well, Superman, when I first met David face to face, I was
Uh,
on an elevator and I was at my very first conference. And I
wow.
said, "Boy, would that be great?" Because we were in the elevators, we were all excited. And I said, "Wouldn't that be great if I met David Schmidt?"
Wow.
The elevator opened and there he was. I was like, "Thank you, Jesus."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah, he was a
he's
devout
just
Christian.
such a beautiful
It, yeah,
being.
devout Christian, and his love for God goes unabated. And I agree with him. I'll never forget. He said, I am simply the vessel that was used. I don't take any credit. I'm the same way. I'm simply the vessel that God used to help people that I've helped along the way. I had a guy, a veteran. at the golf tournament, Valspar. His name was Bruce McConnell, and Bruce was a Vietnam era veteran. And when he came up to the my booth, he said, "What would these patches do for me?" I said, "Well, what's wrong with you?" He said, "Well, I got cirrhosis." I said, "Are you an alcoholic?" He said, "No, I got 30 medications that
Ah,
I'm taking." Yeah, 30. I don't want to take 30 vitamins, let alone 30 medications. And
mm,
he said that he was under the care of the VA, and I suggested the inflammation patch, the Eon, and the X39. And so this is Bruce McConaughey, if you can see him.
yeah.
Okay. And the term skin and bones and death warmed over is going to take on new meaning.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How old
140
was
pounds.
he?
70 and weighed 140 pounds at 5'10".
Oh,
Yeah.
mm,
He was more dead than alive. Okay. And I said, you know what? So that's what I'd recommend. And there we have 30 pills, vi-
mm.
medications that they took every day. And I just thought, who in their right mind would give you 30 medications? There's no way that all the different side effects, and God only knows.
Oh,
And then as a picture of unhealth,
mm.
see his stomach protruded.
Yep.
Yeah, he would go to the VA every 2 weeks and they would drain 6 to 8 liters of fluid out of his body. I mean, I look at that picture and I think, what's the quality of life?
Oh, so sad.
Yeah, what's the now? This is a veteran that suppose he's under the care of the VA, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, look at you. And he said, if I hadn't met you, I probably wouldn't be above ground. I said, Bruce, I'm simply the messenger. That was the grace of God who did that. I don't take any
Hmm.
credit. I'm thankful we met. He was my only sale at the golf tournament, and he has 1,900 pages of documentation by the Veterans Association on where he was and where he ended up. And so we're hoping that we can finally get their attention. But this is 10 months later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's definitely got some really great
Yeah.
definition,
Yeah. Yeah.
muscle, and he's lost that stomach.
Yeah. He
He's
gained
got,
50 pounds, walked 150 miles last month for a cancer program, on no medications, works out 5 days a week, and off the liver transplant list. And no,
mm,
and we're still waiting for someone to say, what did you do for this guy? How did you do this? So we're kind of working our way through the different, channels and that we can. But Bruce McConaughey is a man that is grateful to be alive, and another one of those incredible, X-39 stories that we get to hear.
I would love to interview him sometime. It sounds like he's got a great story.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll put you in touch with him. Yeah, he's going to the convention and he's got something next week in Tampa where he's going to get to share his story. And in my mind, if you look at his before and after picture, I tell people, listen, after this, I'm out of bullets. If those pictures don't convince
That's
you,
right. That's
I'm
right.
sorry, I don't know what else.
Pictures are worth a
So
thousand
yeah, we got
words.
thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of incredible. But if
Mm,
those before and afters don't do, and this is a guy was under the watchful eye of the VA, a liver
mm.
transplant doctor at Tampa General, a renowned liver transplant. Was going to do the surgery, and today no transplant needed, no medications needed, and his life has changed.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely want to hear his story.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
get him in touch with you.
and like you said, it's we're not healing, treating, or curing anything. This is just helping the body do what it's supposed to do, which is heal itself.
The way God designed it, we're bringing back those cells that have gone dormant and they come back as brand new. And it reverses everything pretty much LifeWave does, minus the sleep patch, the pain patch, the animal patch. I believe most all of them, if not all of those nine remaining, are all including age reversal in some way, shape, or form. And it's not for the vanity of age reversal, but who would deny, hey, I don't know, who would deny looking younger, feeling younger, more energy, and so forth? But the age reversal is for a younger body, is a healthier
Mm.
body. So that's what the premise on everything that, as I understand it, that David has done is reversing those biomarkers, so that we can live longer, live healthier, and a younger body. Old cells are made new.
Amen. I know that my story, real quick, was I got hit by a school bus in
Oh my.
2020.
Wow.
And yep, if God wants to slow you down, He will slow you down.
Oh,
And
wow.
they found a mass in my left breast. And
Wow.
I went all holistic. I found the patch, and like I said, it didn't heal, treat, or cure anything. But a year later, I was completely restored.
Yeah.
And I've got the blood of a 30-year-old, the blood of a 30-year-old at 58 years old.
Oh my goodness. I would have
People look,
never thought that.
people look at me and they're like, "Aren't you in your 30s?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, I can feel like I'm in my 30s. I line dance like I'm in my 30s because I
Yeah.
can dance like 4 or 5 hours. And a 30-year-olds are going,
Yeah.
"What? Are you kidding me? Where are you getting your energy?"
Yeah.
The power of the patch.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's amazing. People my age are in recliners, sleeping half their life away, and
Oh, it's just so
yeah,
sad.
I can't do enough, and I had a Zoom last night, and I had like what was it, maybe an hour, so I got my 2.5 mile run in, and there was still enough time to run up to the YMCA and get my workout in, and I was on with a group, some of my team members, Charlene Saylor, who can't love me enough because she said if I hadn't met you. I don't think I'd be alive. And I said, Charlene, I'm thankful for our friendship. I'm just the messenger. That was the dear Lord bringing, this incredible, product to you to do what it did. And I'm so thankful. And I'm glad that we had this experience. But I tell people it's the greatest health and wellness product ever invented because of what I've seen, not because of my position or what we, do or whatever. I've seen god awful. Jeremy Osteen prayed for 4 years to not wake up the next day because his neuropathy was so bad in his feet.
I heard
Four
his
years.
story.
Four
Hmm.
years. Don't wake up. And then I heard him say, I wish my wife could cut my feet off. And I just thought, oh my God. But 6 weeks later, he's given his testimonial walking on the beaches of Cancun, and all that had changed for the better. And again, it's one of those things that, you know what, you can try it and give it time, or you can keep what you got and, take whatever you want. There's nothing like this.
And real quick, like before we
Yeah,
end the show,
sure.
why is it that people are, like they want that we live in a microwave society, so they want results immediately. I've had so many people that like, well, how come I don't have results yet? Well, how can you tell what the body is doing on the inside until you go check the blood? Right? Until
Yeah.
you can see, like you said, had blood tests done and you can tell. So, what would you say to somebody that has been using the patches and they just gave up? It's like you give up before the miracle.
Well, I was talking with some guys today. I had to get some tire work, as I told you, done to my car, and there were two guys there. One had had surgery, had carpal tunnel surgery. I said, "Boy, they like you. What else can they cut on, And
Mm.
and the other guy had back issues and has had it for a while and his pain level was 7, 8 every day. And I'm just thinking, wow, and this is affordable, what we're talking about. It's non-invasive, non-transdermal. And I said, but you got to give it time. This is a 3 to 6 month kind of commitment. It's not like popping a Xanax or a Valium and 15 minutes you're in la la land, say, oh, I'm okay now. And this is the body doing what the body does best is heal itself the way God designed it. and you got to give it time. You have to drink water. You can order the Celergized supplement, which is an excellent flavor and so forth, very affordable at $1.50 a day. Or you can take some supplements, on your own. But I tell people don't quit before the miracle. What my wife got, what you got, what I had are all different, and everybody's results are because we're all made differently. Diet is certainly an important foundation of the process, but you have to stay hydrated and you have to keep patching and don't quit before the miracle.
Amen. And what about our little furry friends that we can put the patches on afterwards that we've seen amazing results with?
Yeah. Well, Team Evolve now has a Monday vet talk where they have veterinarians come in because they can't deny there's been enough incredible testimonials with, even though there's no clinical testing on
Right.
pets or pregnant women or women who breastfeed or children, we have testimonials on all of those different categories that have been amazing, just like you would expect. But there isn't any clinical test that verifies, but we've seen it for our own eyes. It's just amazing. What
Well,
a
my
gift.
little Yorkie had suffered with cysts because
Ah, right.
Yorkies are susceptible to cysts. So, and he doesn't he's not suffering with them anymore.
Oh,
And I
good.
use all my patches when I take them off of me and I put them on him.
Yeah.
And he also had glassy eyes. I guess they
Right.
get really glassy eyes when they get older, and he was 10 years old. And
Oh,
so, but he bounces around here like a jelly bean. I
it,
mean,
how old is he?
he's 10.
Oh my goodness, that's a quite a bit of jumping then for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he plays on his ball. He's my circus dog.
Ah.
So, all right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share before we end the show, Superman? I really appreciate you and all your stories, and I hope and pray that this will hit the hearts of people and that they will be willing to open their minds and try something holistic that it was created by a scientist who is amazing who had at 8 years old, he was told he was going to invent something with light. Can you imagine that? So I can't wait for the documentary to come out.
What a guy. So I would say two things. One, um, it's affordable for everyone. There's a 30-day money back trial. Most people in 6 to 8 weeks, energy, sleep, cognition, and pain reduction. I mean, it's non-invasive. You don't go from a $20 million a year, $25 million a year company to 5 years after the X-39 to 600 million without a lot of people getting a lot of results. So you got to try it, but the proof's in trying it. Make sure you follow the directions, you drink water. And then the other thing I would say is that if you're looking at the business side of it, 8 billion people's in the 8 billion people in the planet. There's plenty of people that can use this. I believe it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for people. We're at the forefront of a company that David Schmidt and Meredith Burkage have talked about. This is a generational thing that's going to,
Mm.
we're not a one patch and done kind of. David will never sell it. And so it's an opportunity to get on something that's David projects next year will be a $3 billion company, million a year company. We have no competition because everything has a patent and it's life changing for so many. And that's such a beautiful thing to be a part of. So, business wise, our team's growing and we help a bunch of people. We love customers and we love to help people build their teams, but it's the kind of thing, the biggest hurdle, it sounds too good to be true.
I know, but it is true.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Countless testimonials, countless, countless, countless.
Well, thank you so much for being on Living a Healthy
Yeah.
Lifestyle show today and sharing your wife's beautiful story of all the things that God did to heal her. Because we do know that our Lord in heaven is also got his hand in everything. And so he's helping us to heal. And these patches are just like you said, we're being used as a vessel to help other people to heal their bodies back to homeostasis. So,
It's
and thank
incredible.
you very much today for being on Living a Healthy Lifestyle Show. This will be recorded and then it'll be sent to you real soon.
Oh,
And we
good.
want to thank all of our listeners too that will listen and hear the stories. And if you want to follow Superman, can you just send out some of your information real quick?
Well, Gary Homburg's my last name on Facebook. Gary Super Patches on Instagram, and you know we've been very blessed with what's taken place. And if you have questions, I'm a do it now guy. I'm not a do it later. So I'm very responsible still. And if you want to do something, we've helped a bunch of people. If you want, we help customers too. So. I
Yes, and
love
I'm
what I
looking
do.
forward to you being on Q Vision Television, our patching community that we started on television. I'm so super excited to share this, and I will let you know when we get that done by September 1st. We will be putting your show out there to share with the world. So thank you so much for being on the show today, Gary. We
You're welcome,
appreciate you
Gary.
and your story.
There's no way you're looking 58 to me. I'm guessing 38 me. I'm just sitting there looking at you. They holding. She's almost 60.
Yes,
So,
I'm almost 60 and I feel amazing. So yeah, it's great. It just and people are all the time saying, "Can I see your ID?" Yeah, it's hard to believe, but we're really just taking care of the body that God gave us.
there you
And
go.
we're rebuilding cells that have died or are dormant that need to be alive. And if you think about it too, Gary, we're also getting circulation and blood flow up to 24 hours too.
Yeah,
So,
that's God
all,
bless you and your
all right,
ministry.
God bless. Take care.
Thank you.